you hear strange noises up on the roof at night, don't be afraid, those are the Mumsels, they come alive. Little creatures of the dark, living life with all their might, going on adventures beneath the pale moonlight. If your toys are gone by morning and cookies out of sight, leftovers disappearing, they're feasting through the night. The Mumsels are so curious, exploring every nook. Join in their adventures, come and take a look. Tiptoeing through the shadows, with eyes so big and bright, on a quest for hidden treasures in the still of night. Playful and so sneaky, they'll never make a peep, but the tales of nighttime mischief are ones you'll want to keep. If your toys are gone by morning and cookies out of sight, leftovers disappearing, they're feasting through the night. The Mumsels are so curious, exploring every nook. Join in their adventures, come and take a look. So next time you hear those sounds, don't worry or feel fright.
In a quiet village nestled between green hills and babbling brooks lived the Mumsels. These small, furry creatures had big eyes and 2 antennae with round, fluffy balls on their heads. Despite their monster-like appearance, the Mumsels were incredibly cute. It was vacation time and people left for their holidays, abandoning their houses for a few weeks. Pets were often sent to kennels, but the Mumsels stayed home. In the first few days after the humans left, the Mumsels remained cautious. They crept through the house at night, searching for food, and quickly returned to their nests without drawing any attention. After a few days, the Mumsels realized they were alone. They felt braver and started taking more risks. Every night, the house became their playground. They raided all the cupboards and kitchen drawers, jumped on the sofas and beds, and left a mess everywhere. It was like they were throwing a big party every night. After 2 weeks, the humans were still not back, and the food was running out. The Mumsels had eaten everything and left a huge mess behind. With their big eyes, they looked around at the chaos they had created and realized they couldn't leave the house in such a state. They started cleaning up as best as they could, carefully erasing their tracks. All the food was gone, and the Mumsels had to search for food in other places. They didn't like this at all. They fervently hoped the humans would return soon so they wouldn't have to go far to find food at night. After 3 long weeks, the day finally arrived. The humans came back home. The Mumsels hid and watched with joy as the lights turned on and the house filled with the sounds of the returning residents. That night, the Mumsels were happy once more. They knew they could raid the fridge again in their own home without having to travel far for their midnight snacks. And so they lived contentedly, always ready for the next vacation season.
In a tranquil Dutch forest, adjacent to a lively campground, a special bustle arose with the arrival of spring. While the campground had been deserted during the winter months, it now filled with holidaymakers, cheerfully settling in. And where there are people, there is food, something the local Mumsels knew all too well. The Mumsels, small cunning creatures with an insatiable hunger for sweets, patiently waited until night fell. As the last stories around the campfire died down, and people retreated into their sleeping bags, the Mumsels' nightly expedition began. With their large, shiny eyes and nimble fingers, they were ready for their adventure. Some Mumsels targeted the static caravans, where they tried to force the small locks in their search for treats. Others found the tents an easier target. The thin canvas was no match for their sharp claws, allowing them quick entry to grab anything that seemed edible. A few of the more cautious Mumsels chose a less risky approach. They plundered the trash cans, often filled with discarded delicacies from the day. But the true daredevils among the Mumsels set their sights on the ultimate prize, the kitchen of the campground restaurant. There, among the shiny appliances and humming refrigerators, were vending machines filled with various temptations. By the time morning broke and the first rays of sun revived the campground, the Mumsels retreated back into the forest. They left behind a trail of chaos, empty tents broken into caravans, and plundered vending machines. The unsuspecting campers who woke up attributed the nighttime destruction to bold rats and hurried to replenish their supplies, unaware that they were already setting the stage for the next raid by the Mumsels. Have you ever woken up at a campground only to find your pantry mysteriously empty? Perhaps you had an unwitting visit from the Mumsels.
In the quiet night of a hidden valley, where the moon watches over the world like a guardian, there lived a little blue Mumsel. One evening, when the stars twinkled particularly brightly, this Mumsel discovered a soft pink light among the trees. Driven by curiosity, the Mumsel followed the light and found a little pink urban dragon, gazing at the sky with a look full of longing. The dragon shared her dream with the Mumsel. She wanted to fly to New York to show her artworks. However, despite her shimmering wings, she had never had the courage to take to the sky. The Mumsel, moved by her dream and determined to help, knew that all the dragon needed was confidence. So, under the starry sky, they began to train together. The Mumsel spoke words of encouragement and painted images of the adventures that lay ahead of them. Their bond grew stronger by the day, and one night, they felt that the moment had arrived. Together, they climbed to the top of a nearby cliff, with the city lights in the distance beckoning like a promise. With a leap, they ventured into the unknown, the dragon with her wings spread wide, and the Mumsel close by her side on her back. At first hesitant, but soon with increasing certainty, the dragon began to flutter, and then to soar, higher and higher, until they danced through the night air together. With confidence and determination, the pink dragon eventually flew on alone towards New York to share her art with the world. In New York, she reunited with clumsy artist Bibi, known for her stunning tattoos and a friend of the dragon from the beginning. Together, they explored the city, and Bibi's artistry and tattoos complemented the dragon's own creative expressions, making their bond even stronger. In New York, the dragon also met Cynthia with the Funky Hearts, whose art lit up the streets. TacoTribe.eth, a community that welcomed her with delicious dishes. The secret project mystique of Japanese culture, which offered her new perspectives. Finkers and the Chalk Monsters, who showed the playful side of art, and many others. Each encounter brought her new insights, friends, and inspiration. These experiences in New York made for an unforgettable time, during which the dragon learned a lot and made new friends. Her adventure in the city did not end with a return to the valley, but with a look forward to the many adventures that were yet to come. Now that she was ready to explore the world with an open heart and a treasure trove of new stories, alongside her loyal friend, clumsy artist Bibi. In the middle of the night, when everyone is asleep, the Mumsels start their secret mission. The Mumsels are small, fluffy creatures that live under the tiles of houses. They have a special task at Easter. They find the eggs that the Easter Bunny has hidden and hide them again, but in even more difficult places. This way, they make searching for eggs even more fun for children. Among these Mumsels are Luna and Knox, two best friends. Luna has a coat that shines like the moon, and Knox has a black coat that sparkles like a starry sky. This year, they have a special plan. They want to find and hide the most beautiful egg, the Golden Titan. This is no ordinary egg. It glitters and is so special it seems to contain magic. Luna and Nox set off together in the dark. They follow the light of the fireflies and look out for the glittering egg. After a long search, they find it under an old tree. The egg is so beautiful that they are momentarily stunned, but they know what they have to do. With some smart thinking and teamwork, they manage to move the egg to a new, secret place, where it is even harder to find. They choose a spot deep in the forest, where the morning light dances through the leaves. When their task is done, Luna and Nox quickly sneak back home, just before sunrise. They crawl back under the tiles and peek outside, waiting for the moment the children start searching for their eggs. They can hardly wait to hear how happy and surprised the children will be. This adventure of Luna and Nox shows how special Easter can be, thanks to the secret help of the Mumsles. Every year they ensure that the egg hunt is a real adventure, full of surprises and fun. But will there be eggs to find this Easter after the Mumsles hide them? There's only one way to find out, and that's by going to search for them.
On the enchanting day of February 14th, which annually heralds the beginning of spring in the Mumsle realm, nature awakens with a riot of colors as flowers delicately unfurl their buds.
A gentle breeze carries the sweet scent of blossoms through the air, while the Mumsles venture outside with eager anticipation, their curiosity.
Hey Mumsle hunters, dare to be the victor of this enchanting Mumsle tale. Tag someone below and express why they truly deserve this Mumsle story. On Valentine's Day, the Mumsles will delight a few fortunate hunters with this heartwarming narrative. Share or like this post, and don't forget to tag someone special who deserves to experience this story through your eyes.
The proud Mumsle guarded his mountain of cookies like a precious treasure, determined to make it even more impressive. He set out on a new quest. One night, he encountered a curious rat who enticingly offered to help expand his cookie stash. The rat revealed the location of a secret place, promising that there were enough cookies there to double the size of the mountain. Upon arriving at the mysterious location, the Mumsle was astonished to find no cookies in sight. Disappointed, he returned home, only to make a shocking discovery at his nest. His precious mountain of cookies had vanished, as if by dark magic. Feeling sad and bewildered, the Mumsle wondered what had happened. Suddenly, it dawned on him that he had disclosed his own secret cookie haven to the rat, and the rat had lied. The likelihood was high that the rat had absconded with his treasure. The Mumsle realized he had been too trusting, confiding his treasure in the wrong creature. The valuable lesson sank in. It wasn't he, but the cunning rat, who had found and stolen the treasure. The Mumsle had bestowed his trust without careful consideration, and now his cherished mountain of cookies rested in the hands of deceit and lies. And the Mumsle, he just started collecting cookies again.
Een kleine Mumsle verveelde zich, de nacht was al voorbij en hij moest eigenlijk gaan slapen. Terwijl de mensen ontwaakten, had de kleine Mumsle geen zin om te rusten en wilde iets ondernemen. Uit verveling en nieuwsgierigheid verliet hij zijn nest onder de dakpannen en sloop het huis in. Vanuit een gaatje in de muur luisterde de Mumsle naar de verschillende geluiden en observeerde stilletjes wat de mensen deden. Hij zag een jongen en meisje, samen met 2 grotere mensen, waarschijnlijk de vader en moeder. Deze 2 leken enigszins gehaast, druk bezig met hun bezigheden, terwijl de kinderen rustig op de bank iets aten. De Mumsle dacht bij zichzelf dat hij dat ook wel zou lusten. Het was fascinerend om te zien wat mensen allemaal deden, vooral hoe de volwassenen zich soms vreemd gedroegen. Maar voordat de Mumsle het besefte, werd het stil. Het hele gezin trok meer spullen aan en vertrok. Op de tafel stonden nog restjes eten die de kinderen hadden achtergelaten. Zouden ze terugkomen? De mumsel overwoog of hij het eten zou pakken, maar twijfelde of iemand hem zou opmerken in het volle daglicht. Hij besloot even te wachten, te controleren of ze echt weg waren. Ondertussen werd de mumsel steeds vermoeider en verveling sloeg opnieuw toe. In zijn hoofd bedacht hij allerlei plannetjes om bij het eten te komen, zoals naar beneden springen, via de bank naar de tafel klimmen en via de brievenbus naar buiten gaan, om vervolgens via de rekenpijp weer naar boven te klimmen. Plotseling schrok de mumsel wakker door allerlei geluiden. Hij keek op en zag dat de kinderen thuis kwamen. Nu was het te laat om het eten te pakken. Was de familie zo snel terug, of was de mumsel gewoon in slaap gevallen? Teleurgesteld keerde de mumsel terug naar zijn nest, aangezien er nu toch niets meer te eten viel.
It started as a normal evening, but then suddenly, socks began to mysteriously disappear. First one, then two, and before we knew it, almost the entire sock drawer was empty. Everyone searched everywhere, under the beds, in the laundry basket, even behind the couch, but no socks to be found. What no one knew was that the Mumsels were busy with a secret mission that night. They had discovered a small hole near the cavity walls between the attic and the roof, a perfect spot to build their new hideaway. And what could be better for creating a cozy nest than soft, warm socks? So there, in that hidden corner between the walls, lay all the missing socks, neatly arranged by the tiny hands of the Mumsels. They had created a complete setup: a sock bed, a sock pillow, and even a little sock rug. While we were left wondering where all the socks had gone, the Mumsels were happily snuggled in their warm, homemade nest, sound asleep. The next morning, we found the nest and couldn't help but smile. The Mumsels had clearly made themselves a cozy little home. Now we're keeping a closer eye on our socks. You never know when the Mumsels might be looking for their next building materials.
Welcome, viewers, to an extraordinary story unfolding beneath the roof tiles and in the shadows of the night. Allow me to introduce you to the enchanting world of the Mumsels. Have you ever heard strange sounds at night? Scratching on the roof or whispers in the dark? Fear not, for there is no need for alarm. Behind those mysterious sounds are the Mumsels, small creatures with antennae on their heads and large, curious eyes. They lead a hidden life under our roof tiles, sneaking through our homes while we sleep. These nocturnal adventurers are in search of food and items to furnish their cozy nests. So, if you wake up to an empty cookie jar or find your keys missing, you can safely attribute it to the mischievous Mumsels. But listen, I'm not an ordinary observer. I'm a Mumsel hunter. I embark on an exciting hunt to capture as many Mumsels as possible and unveil their secrets. And here's the exciting part. You can become a Mumsel hunter too.
Hello, I am Dracula Girl and a Mumsel hunter. Today, I want to tell you a story. In the deep darkness of the Halloween forest, under a spooky crescent moon, a group of courageous Mumsels gathered for an adventure that set their tiny hearts racing. These nocturnal creatures, who rarely ventured into the world of humans, were drawn by the mysterious powers of All Hallows Eve. As they ventured deeper into the woods, their paths were illuminated by flickering lights that appeared among the trees. Curious as they were, they approached until they suddenly heard eerie screams. Despite their initial shock, their curiosity overcame their fear. What could be happening? In the darkness, they observed several people in panic, fleeing toward other lights in the forest. The Mumsels decided to investigate the source of the screams and stealthily crept closer. At the spot where the people had come from, they noticed movement in the bushes. Fearlessly, they approached the location, where one of the Mumsels cautiously slipped into the underbrush. There, concealed in the shadows, he discovered a monstrous figure. The creature signaled to the Mumsels that they needed to act swiftly to capture it and prevent it from causing more fear among people. In no time, the Mumsels gathered to devise a plan, while the monster once again leaped out of the bushes, filling the forest with shrill cries and laughter. They now saw the creature more clearly and heard the laughter, and, to their surprise, realized it was merely a human dressed as a monster. Why would this person be scaring others? Although they didn't fully comprehend, the Mumsles decided that this human monster wasn't deserving of their attention. They watched as the monster, which now seemed to revel in causing fear, continued on its way. The Mumsles ventured back into the depths of the Halloween forest, eager to search for more thrilling adventures and mysteries to brighten their night.
In the stillness of the night, a daring little Mumsle embarked on a fearless adventure, driven by a gnawing hunger. His sanctuary was a forgotten shed amidst a labyrinth of houses in a bustling residential neighborhood. Guided by the call of an unknown desire, he slipped through the cat flap of a random house. Once inside, he found himself in a dimly lit kitchen where the faint glow of the moon illuminated his path to a counter strewn with mysterious lunchboxes, lids sealed with secrets. Next to them rested a toaster, a dormant sentinel, and a spoon, a forgotten sword. The Mumsle, propelled by his rumbling stomach, began his cunning attempt to open the lunchbox. After an exhaustive effort of fiddling and whispering, the lid succumbed to his determination. There unfolded a surprising discovery: a frozen slice of bread, a cold treasure in the darkness. Unflinchingly, the Mumsle retrieved the bread and turned to the toaster, whose mysteries challenged him. With a clever maneuver, he slid the lunchbox next to the toaster and climbed on top. The spoon served as his wand as he deftly pulled the slice of bread upward. An acrobatic leap onto the toaster, followed by a determined push on the lever, brought the toasting ritual to life. The cheerful ping pierced the nocturnal silence, but anxiety gripped the Mumsle. The hot bread beckoned, seemingly unattainable in the glowing depths of the toaster. Patiently, he waited, concealed in the shadows, as minutes felt like an eternity. Finally, when the time was right, the Mumsle seized his precious loot and sliced through the darkness like a shadow, escaping through the cat flap. In his nest in the shed, he relished the victory, knowing he had become a nocturnal legend. As for the abandoned lunchbox, perhaps the owner discovered a mysterious tale and an empty container come morning. Would you be able to laugh if a Mumsle had conquered your bread?
In the silent night, the Mumsle awoke and, as usual, embarked on a quest for food within the house. The familiar kitchen often offered delicacies left behind by human residents. However, this night, the Mumsle discovered a conspicuous object on the dresser, a mysterious glass artifact with a glowing red lamp. Curious, the Mumsle knocked on the object, revealing a glass wall that unveiled another world. A paradisiacal landscape with plants, water, and sand stretched out. Undaunted, the Mumsle climbed over the glass's edge, aided by a few other objects on the cabinet. Inside, the Mumsle found himself on a small beach, under the warm glow of the red lamp, next to a bowl of food. While enjoying his meal, his attention was drawn to a large stone, which suddenly revealed a head. The Mumsle startled, surprised by the presence of the turtle who lived there. Apologies were offered, but soon joy and camaraderie blossomed between the Mumsle and the turtle. They shared conversations and laughter throughout the night. The Mumsle was even treated to more treats. However, amidst this joyful gathering, the Mumsle still hadn't realized how to escape from this enchanting terrarium. Imagine waking up in the morning, checking on your turtle, and suddenly discovering a Mumsle in your terrarium. Would you help him get out, or would you let him stay?
Once upon a time, there was a little Mumsle named Miko. Miko had just left his parental nest, full of expectations and desires to explore the world. He wandered through meadows and forests, met other Mumsles, but he felt lonely without a companion to share his adventures with. On a fine morning, while Miko was strolling along a babbling brook, he encountered another Mumsel named Lena. She was just as curious and adventurous as Miko. They engaged in conversation, shared stories, and soon a deep friendship blossomed. The two Mumsels began to embark on adventures together, exploring the world and relishing each other's company. Miko realized he no longer wanted to be alone and asked Lena if she would come live with him. Happily, Lena agreed, and they decided to construct their own cozy nest. Together, they savored sunsets, danced beneath the moon, and chuckled at the amusing adventures they experienced. Miko was delighted he was no longer alone and wondered if other Mumsels in the world had also found the joy of companionship. So tell me, do you prefer to be alone or with someone else?
In the middle of the night, when everyone is asleep, the Mumsels start their secret mission. The Mumsels are small, fluffy creatures that live under the tiles of houses. They have a special task at Easter. They find the eggs that the Easter Bunny has hidden and hide them again, but in even more difficult places. This way, they make searching for eggs even more fun for children. Among these Mumsels are Luna and Nox, two best friends. Luna has a coat that shines like the moon, and Nox has a black coat that sparkles like a starry sky. This year, they have a special plan. They want to find and hide the most beautiful egg, the Golden Titan. This is no ordinary egg. It glitters and is so special it seems to contain magic. Luna and Nox set off together in the dark. They follow the light of the fireflies and look out for the glittering egg. After a long search, they find it under an old tree. The egg is so beautiful that they are momentarily stunned, but they know what they have to do. With some smart thinking and teamwork, they manage to move the egg to a new, secret place, where it is even harder to find. They choose a spot deep in the forest, where the morning light dances through the leaves. When their task is done, Luna and Nox quickly sneak back home, just before sunrise. They crawl back under the tiles and peek outside, waiting for the moment the children start searching for their eggs. They can hardly wait to hear how happy and surprised the children will be. This adventure of Luna and Nox shows how special Easter can be, thanks to the secret help of the Mumsels. Every year they ensure that the egg hunt is a real adventure, full of surprises and fun. But will there be eggs to find this Easter after the Mumsels hide them? There's only one way to find out, and that's by going to search for them.
Hello, I'm going to tell you a story. On a sun-drenched day, the adventurous Mumsel lay exhausted, his body worn out from nocturnal escapades. He resided in a barn next to a remote farm, where daytime was blissfully quiet, except for the morning crow of the rooster. However, Mumsel was rudely awakened by a deafening commotion next to his nest. Annoyed, he turned around, but the noise persisted. His curiosity got the best of him, and he crawled out of his nest to discover the source of the disturbance. There, next to his sleeping spot, he spotted a group of mice darting around like a whirlwind. "What are you doing here?" grumbled Mumsel. "I want to sleep." The mice explained that they had come to this tranquil place because there was little to eat elsewhere, and predators were on their heels. Mumsel stared at them, a spark of adventure in his eyes. He welcomed the mice as new neighbors, but made a request. "Welcome, new neighbors, but could you please be a bit quieter during the day so I can sleep? And please leave some food for me." Back in his nest, Mumsel's imagination ran wild as he pondered what it would be like to have mice as neighbors. Would they eat all of Mumsel's food? Would they be quiet during the day? So many questions swirled in Mumsel's mind about his new neighbors. However, he soon drifted off to sleep. Would you want to have mice as neighbors in your home?
Every year on October 31st, as Halloween descends upon us, this enigmatic Mumsel undergoes a chilling transformation. It morphs into something dark and malevolent, its once amiable appearance tainted by malevolence. This nightmarish metamorphosis turns it into a terrifying apparition, striking fear into the hearts of those who encounter its sinister presence. As the clock strikes midnight on Halloween, the Mumsel begins its nocturnal reign of terror. Its preferred targets are the bedrooms of houses, where it conjures spine-tingling noises, makes objects levitate, and even brings shadows to life. It's as if the very night itself is under its dark control, leaving no corner safe and causing sleepless nights for many. The Mumsle takes genuine delight in deceiving people and subjecting them to paralyzing fear. It relishes their nervous reactions and eerie chills. For it, Halloween is a festive occasion to showcase its gruesome talents and put on a macabre performance for those daring enough to watch. Despite its horrifying metamorphosis, there remains something cute and intriguing about this creature. Its mischievous eyes and wicked grin reveal the duality of its nature. After Halloween night, it returns to its usual self, and people come to realize that it is actually a unique being that transforms into a monster only on Halloween evening. It serves as a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, something cute can sometimes be found.
It was October, the time of Halloween. The streets were filled with children dressed as ghosts, witches, and other spooky creatures. Pumpkins with flickering candles stood in front of houses, and everywhere you could hear the laughter of children going door to door for candy. Meanwhile, high above the streets, the Mumsles were busy. They had to hurry to gather supplies for the cold winter ahead. Among them was a curious blue Mumsle who was always going on adventures. That night was different. It was almost midnight, and the blue Mumsle felt a strange tension in the air. From the rooftop, he looked down on the streets, which were full of people. A line of children, dressed as monsters, dragons, and robots, caught his attention. The blue Mumsle watched in amazement as the children rang the doorbell of a house and received candy. How is that possible? He thought. I want candy too. Without a second thought, he climbed down the drain pipe and sneaked into the garden. He needed to find a costume. As he crept through the garden, he spotted a small doll in a Dracula outfit. Perfect. With a big smile, the blue Mumsle put on the Dracula costume and found a small bucket that he could just carry. He rushed to the front door, jumped onto the windowsill to reach the bell, and pressed it. With his heart pounding in excitement, he quickly jumped behind the bucket to hide. The door slowly opened, and a woman appeared in the doorway. She looked surprised at the bucket sitting on the ground, but saw no one around. She smiled and placed a candy in the bucket. Without saying a word, she turned and closed the door. The blue Mumsle was overjoyed. He had gotten a piece of candy. He quickly ran back to his nest on the rooftop. Proudly, he showed off his prize to the other Mumsles, who looked on in admiration. But just as he thought the adventure was over, he suddenly heard a soft voice from the street. Could the woman have seen me? He wondered aloud. Suddenly, he felt a cold gust of wind and heard rustling in the bushes. He looked back and saw something that looked like a shadow moving in the darkness. Was it a real Dracula, or just another child in a costume? Clutching his candy tightly in his hands, he hurried back to the safety of his rooftop nest, where the other Mumsles welcomed him as a hero. From that night on, the blue Mumsle would never see Halloween the same way again. It wasn't just a celebration for humans. It was also a night filled with mystery, magic, and candy.
Do you see that little creature over there in the dark? You can hardly miss it. It seems to be catching your attention. Have you seen it? Isn't it cute? Listen! Listen to the sounds it's making. To be very cheerful and excited, trying to get your attention. Maybe it wants to live with you. What do you think? Shall you give it some food or just a hug? I can't understand it, but it sounds cute. Can you keep it? Do you already have your own Mumsle? Because this one really wants to stay with you.
On a chilly night, Gluime, the mumsel, is abruptly awakened by a cold draught seeping into its nest beneath the roof tiles. Curious and determined, Gluime embarks on an exploration. Upon leaving its nest, it encounters an unexpected layer of cold, wet, white substance. Intrigued, Gluime starts digging, and soon the white material cascades down in abundance. Once through the white layer, a mysterious night unfolds. Everywhere around Gluime lies the cold, white substance, and the mumsel feels the icy touch of it. Hastily, Gluime maneuvers through the strange landscape, seeking something to shield its nest from the cold intrusion and halt the draft. However, the white substance complicates the search. Desperately, Gluime recalls a place in the house's shed where it found wood and wool before. With diligent haste, Gluime heads to the shed and locates the necessary materials. Returning to its nest beneath the roof tiles, Gluime repairs the hole and isolates itself from the cold external world. Soaked and shivering from the cold, Gluime crawls under its blankets to warm up and continue sleeping. While finding solace in the warmth, the lingering question remains: what was that mysterious white substance, and why did it cover everything?
One night, a mumsel embarked on a nocturnal adventure in search of something to eat. He leaped from rooftop to rooftop until he stumbled upon an entrance to a building, a small hole in one of the vents. The curious mumsel skillfully climbed through the opening and found himself in a long corridor filled with pipes. Beneath him, there were small grates through which he could peer, although the area was rather dark. To get a better view, he decided to lay down on one of these grates. Suddenly, with a loud crash, he fell through it. The grate had given way, and the mumsel found himself landing on a shelf, surrounded by an astonishing abundance of food in plastic packaging. There were sweets, cookies, bread, and an array of delectable treats that seemed never-ending. Eager to try everything, he swiftly tore open bags and sampled fruits and other items he came across. He wanted to taste it all. After a while, the mumsel was full, but he faced a dilemma. He couldn't find a way to leave. Then, he spotted an opening behind one of the refrigerators in the store. He slipped behind it and discovered a hidden space where he could rest, safe from prying eyes. Mumsel decided to collect some of the things he had seen in the store and quickly fashioned a comfortable mumsel nest behind the refrigerator. As for the store owner, in a few hours, he would encounter a scene of chaos in his shop, mistakenly believing he had a mouse infestation. What he didn't know was that it was just one mumsel living peacefully behind his store's refrigerator.
Long, long ago, when the world was still evolving, the mumsels were known for their adventures and their close bond with dinosaurs. These extraordinary beings combined chemical knowledge with the art of forging and possessed magical powers that beautified the world around them, despite the lurking dangers. The mumsels were always ready to help people and animals. They shared their knowledge of transforming raw materials into materials and new technologies. But sadly, humanity sometimes used these gifts for dark purposes, putting the mumsels at risk if they remained visible. Ultimately, the mumsels withdrew from the view of humans, and they only appeared in the dark while the world slept. In secret, they continued to watch over the earth, ready to use their magical powers to protect the good and make the world a better place when humanity sought the peace of the night. The mumsels consciously remained hidden from most people, which is why so few know of their existence. They were concerned that their precious gifts would be misused if they were too visible in the world of humans. Therefore, they kept themselves concealed, and their adventures were carefully preserved as secrets from a distant past. But if you had the unlikely fortune of gaining the trust of the mumsels, you might still have the chance to see them. They would only reveal themselves to those who had proven that they would treat the wisdom and powers of the mumsels with respect and care. In return, they would share their magical arts and assist in protecting the beauty of the world, both in daylight and at night. Their invisible presence remained a mystery to the world, but for those who earned their trust, the mumsels were the keepers of a precious legacy.
The mumsels. Is there someone on the roof? I can't tell now. Mumsles are here again. The Mumsles are here again. Morning, sir. Love you. Love your show.
Hi, my name's Emma, and I want to tell you about something amazing that happened to me. I've been living in my family's old house for as long as I can remember. At night, I used to hear these strange and spooky sounds coming from the attic, and they kept me awake. But one night, I decided to investigate, and that's when I met the Mumsle. This little red creature had been living in the attic all along. It was sweet and kind, but it could be a bit mischievous, too. I started leaving it treats, usually some crumbs from the cookies I got before bedtime. The Mumsle loved them. At first, it was really shy and wouldn't come out much. But with time, it started to trust me, and we became friends. I could even pet and cuddle with it during our nightly adventures. The only problem was that the Mumsle slept during the day, so I'd often be tired at school. But those nights with the Mumsle were so special that it didn't matter. I couldn't tell my parents about it. The Mumsle was our secret, our magical secret that only came to life at night. So, during the day, I'd go to school and do my chores, but my thoughts were always with my secret friend. Those nights with the Mumsle added a magical dimension to my life, something I'll cherish forever. Now I have to ask, have you ever discovered a mysterious friend like the Mumsle in your own life?
Imagine, dear listeners, that there's a very special creature called the Mumsle. The Mumsle is a joyful and loving little being. But what makes it truly special is what it does when it's in love or just incredibly happy. When a Mumsle falls in love with another Mumsle, or when it's just bursting with joy, something magical happens. It starts to dance, but not an ordinary dance. No, it does a dance with its hair and eyes. Its hair seems to sway, and its eyes sparkle like stars in the sky. It looks really funny and cute. You might wonder, why does the Mumsle do this? Well, it does it because it's so excited to meet the other Mumsle and make a great impression. It's its way of showing how happy it is. Just like how sometimes we jump or laugh when we're happy, the Mumsle dances with its hair and eyes. But that's not all. Mumsles have another way to communicate with each other. They make sounds, just like we talk. Listen carefully. Can you hear the Mumsles? They sound like cheerful whistles and happy tunes. It's like they're speaking a secret language. So, dear listeners, when you're excited to meet someone, how do you behave? Maybe you laugh, dance, or just say a very joyful hello. Everyone has their own way of expressing joy and love, just like the Mumsles with their hair, eyes, and cheerful sounds. And that's what makes the world a colorful and joyful place.
Once upon a time, in a peaceful meadow lived a golden brown creature named Gizmo. Gizmo was no ordinary creature. He was a mischievous and endearing little creature known as a Mumsle. As the sun sank below the horizon and Gizmo's Mumsle parents gave him the freedom to roam, he embarked on nighttime adventures that filled the meadow with wonder and excitement. Under the silvery glow of the moon, the adventurous Mumsle Gizmo set off on his escapades, always looking for something exciting. One night, his curiosity led him to a mysterious place, the barn across the meadow near the cozy house where he lived with his Mumsle parents. Inside, he discovered strange and enormous constructions decorated with special buttons. Unable to resist the lure of the unknown, Gizmo decided to investigate further. With his little paw, he pressed one of the buttons, and to his surprise, a bright sun, which people called light, illuminated the room. Startled by the sudden brightness, Gizmo jumped back, causing him to bump into another button, accidentally activating an orchestra of loud noises that sent him running for cover. Gizmo was shocked for a moment, but these new experiences only fueled Gizmo's desire for adventure. Later that night, however, Gizmo came across something very special. In the corner of the shed, he found a strange device with a series of buttons. With his usual fearless spirit, Gizmo jumped on the buttons, and suddenly a powerful gust of wind erupted from the device. Gizmo's fluffy fur billowed in all directions as the wind ruffled his fur. He had come across a wind machine, and Gizmo was crazy about it. As Gizmo enjoyed the swirling gusts of wind, he lost track of time. Unbeknownst to him, the sun began to rise, casting warm rays through the barn window. Gizmo realized with a start that he had been so preoccupied with his windy adventure that he had stayed out all night. Panic welled up inside him as he thought that his Mumsel parents might be worried about his absence. With a bound, Gizmo ran out of the barn and ran back to his house, his fluffy tail following behind him. When he entered his cozy den, his Mumsel parents greeted him with both relief and concern. Gizmo's adventure had left him late, and he knew he had some explaining to do. With an apologetic expression, Gizmo talked about his exciting night, from the glowing lights to the noisy buttons, and of course the beautiful wind machine. Despite their initial concerns, Gizmo's Mumsel parents couldn't help but smile at his story of curiosity and courage. They forgave him for being late, knowing that Gizmo's adventurous spirit was simply too irresistible to tame.
Hey, Hunter, have you also spotted that striking blue Mumsel? It's hard to miss with such a vibrant color. Do you see it moving? I wonder what it could be up to. Perhaps it's hunting for prey, or simply basking in the moon. Should we attempt to catch it before it disappears into the bushes again? It could be an exciting adventure to get a closer look at this mysterious creature.
Under the roof tiles of many houses, there are small creatures called Mumsels. These curious beings have created their own hidden world between the wooden beams and insulation. They are masters at finding hiding places, and adventurous Mumsels are always seeking excitement and food. During the night, the Mumsels emerge while the residents of the house sleep peacefully. They crawl out of their hiding spots and embark on their nocturnal explorations. The Mumsels are clever and agile, but they know they must be cautious of the house pets that coexist in the same space. Dogs and cats are both beloved and dangerous companions to the Mumsels. They admire the playfulness and cuteness of these pets, but they also understand that they can be potentially hazardous. Cats, as natural hunters, may see the Mumsels as prey due to their small size. The Mumsels must remain vigilant and ensure they remain unseen when a cat is nearby. Dogs are watchful and have keen hearing. If the Mumsels make too much noise and wake up a dog, it can attract unwanted attention. The Mumsels must quickly retreat to avoid being seen as toys. Although dogs are generally friendly, they can unintentionally harm the Mumsels when they become overly excited. Therefore, the Mumsels try to avoid the presence of dogs as much as possible. The Mumsels understand the importance of being cautious and carefully planning their nocturnal adventures, especially in the presence of house pets. They have learned how to remain unnoticed and safely wander in their hidden world under the roof tiles. So if you have Mumsels in your home, be aware of their presence and give them the space to live safely and undisturbed beneath your roof.
One night, in a cozy little house, two mischievous Mumsels named Mimi and Pippa set out on a daring adventure to steal some cookies from the kitchen drawer. Little did they know that their journey would be filled with blame games, laughter, and unexpected challenges. Join them as they tiptoe downstairs, their tiny paws barely making a sound, and witness their amusing antics unfold. Will they succeed in their cookie heist, or will their mischievous plans crumble? Let's find out.
Hey, Pippa, I have a great idea. Let's sneak downstairs and steal some cookies from the kitchen drawer.
Oh yeah, great idea, Mimi. But let's be quiet so the humans don't hear us. We have to become ninjas.
Yes, ninjas. But if something goes wrong, it's your fault, okay?
My fault? No way, it's always your ideas that go down the drain. But all right, let's go before we get caught.
The Mumsels sneak downstairs, trying to be silent and avoiding blame.
Watch out for that creaky step, Pippa. Oh no, it was your fault. Now they know we're here.
What? You have way too big feet, Mimi. It was your heavy tread that caused it. But let's keep going. We're almost there.
They arrive at the kitchen drawer where the cookies are.
Look, there are the holy cookies. But how do we get them out of the packaging?
Don't worry. I'm the master of opening packages. Give them here.
Pippa struggles with the cookie packaging.
It's not working. This must be your fault, Mimi. You must have chosen the wrong packaging.
Seriously, Pippa? I think the problem lies with your wobbly legs. They're not strong enough to tear open the packaging.
Oh, yeah? Well, your super strong teeth aren't having any success either, huh? Maybe we need to come up with a different tactic.
You're right. Let's collaborate instead of blaming each other. Maybe we can use scissors or something.
Good idea, Mimi. Together we're unstoppable. Let's defeat that packaging.
Mimi and Pippa used their claws together to open the packaging.
We did it. The cookies are ours.
Ha ha! Finally we have emerged victorious. But now we're so silly that we probably can't even eat these cookies anymore.
Oh well, who needs cookies when we have each other to laugh with? The adventure was worth it, even if we end up without cookies.
Absolutely, Mimi. We may not have a loot, but we had an amazing time together. That's priceless.
The Mumsles laugh and return to their room together, enjoying their adventurous night. And so, dear listeners, we leave our mischievous Mumsles, Mimi and Pippa, on the precipice of their cookie-stealing escapade. As they embark on their adventure, filled with laughter, blame-shifting, and unexpected obstacles, we eagerly await the outcome of their daring mission. Will they taste sweet victory or be left with crumbs of defeat? Stay tuned, for the tale of the Mumsles is just beginning, and their whimsical journey promises to entertain and delight. Until next time, may your own adventures be filled with laughter and mischief. Once upon a time, in a whimsical forest, there lived a mischievous Mumsle named Cotton. Cotton was always curious about the world around him and loved exploring every nook and cranny. One sunny day, as he roamed through the enchanted woods in search of food, his eyes fell upon a shimmering spiderweb glistening in the sunlight. Intrigued by its intricate design, Cotton couldn't resist investigating. He inched closer to the web, his tiny Mumsle paws delicately treading on the silken threads. But as he ventured further, he found himself entangled in the sticky embrace of the spider's creation. Panic washed over Cotton as he struggled to free himself. Unbeknownst to Cotton, the spider who had woven the web was watching from a nearby branch. Without hesitation, the spider hurried down to investigate. With delicate precision, she approached the trapped Mumsle. Cotton, although frightened, managed to communicate with the spider. He explained that he had become ensnared while exploring out of curiosity, never realizing the danger that awaited him. The spider, understanding Cotton's innocent intentions, decided to lend a helping leg. Using her sharp fangs and nimble legs, the spider carefully maneuvered through the web. She skillfully detached the sticky threads that held Cotton captive, freeing him from his predicament. Cotton felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude toward his newfound friend. From that moment on, a special bond formed between Cotton and the spider. Every Sunday, Cotton would pay a visit to the spider's cozy corner of the forest. They would sit together, sharing stories and exchanging tales of their adventures. Cotton would bring tasty treats as a token of appreciation, and the spider would proudly showcase her latest web designs. As the seasons changed and years passed, Cotton and the spider became inseparable friends. They learned from each other, discovering the wonders of their respective worlds. Cotton's mischievous spirit was tempered by the spider's wisdom, while the spider found joy in Cotton's endless curiosity. Their friendship taught them both that true companionship can be found in the most unexpected places. Cotton and the spider served as a shining example of the beauty of understanding and accepting differences. In their forest home, they celebrated the bond between a Mumsle and a spider, reminding others that friendship knows no bounds. And so, every Sunday, Cotton the curious Mumsle would venture through the forest, his heart filled with gratitude for his friend, the spider. Once upon a time, in a little flat land, there lived a brave little creature called Willem, an orange Mumsle. Tomorrow was going to be his birthday, just like the King of the Netherlands. And just like the king's birthday, everyone in the land was going to be dressed in orange, just like Willem. He had also declared himself the king of the Mumsles, but not all of them were going to be dressed in orange for him tomorrow. Nevertheless, Willem had named his birthday Koningsdag, and all the Mumsles were going to have fun playing games and eating treats, even if they didn't dress in orange for him. But something was lurking in the shadows, watching Willem closely. It was a group of Web3 people, known as the Mumsle Hunters. They were jealous of Willem's popularity and wanted to capture him. As the night went on, the Mumsle Hunters crept closer and closer to Willem's home. Suddenly, they pounced. Willem tried to run, but it was no use. They had captured him and were taking him away to their secret hideout. But little did the Mumsle Hunters know, Willem had a secret plan. He had hidden a clue in his wallet, which would lead the Mumsle Hunters on a wild goose chase. And while they were distracted, Willem's friends, the other Mumsles, launched a daring rescue mission. With the help of his friends, Willem was finally freed from the clutches of the Mumsle hunters. He may have been small, but he was a true hero. And as the sun rose on Koningsdag, Willem stood proud and tall, surrounded by his friends as they celebrated his birthday and the triumph over the Mumsle hunters.
Taco, 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 it's Taco Tuesday night. Mumsels on the rooftop stealing tacos left and right. From the truck to the kitchen, no taco is safe. With a crunchy little bite, they vanish without a trace. Taco, 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 spicy, crunchy, yum. The Mumsels start to run. Taco, 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 let the fiesta play. Grab your tacos quickly, the Mumsels are on their way. Strange noises up on the roof at night. Don't be afraid, those are the Mumsels, they come alive. Little creatures of the dark, living life with all their might. Do you hear strange noises up on the roof at night? Don't be afraid, those are the Mumsels, they come alive. Little creatures of the dark, living life with all their might.